One of the things that made me first realize about auras, one of the first things I noticed about auras, was the effects on the person's aura when they pass the ball. And way back when I used to play basketball back in high school, and a lot of times this would actually help me get interceptions. So it was a useful tool. When they hear the word healer, they hear energy, they just come to all these wacky conclusions as to what that means, right?
I'm on my computer, Sarah's down here doing something, and Adam decided he was going to go upstairs and take a look at his mother. You want to describe it, or you want?
Well, basically, I put my hand over her forehead, and I went into this strange trance, the exact same trance that I do when I do these treatments. And I started seeing images of my mom in front of me. I couldn't see anything else in the room around me. It was just these images of my mom in front of me. And from there, I was able to change these images. I was able to move through these images. So it was like I was navigating throughout her head. And I saw the problem. It was very obvious to me what the problem was. It was this green light. It was very vivid. And I grabbed it, and I pulled it out of her. And as a result of me doing this, her pain vanished. She never got another pain, even to this day.
Something happened here, and I was just very tired when I went home, and the next day I felt really relaxed on that, but it was within 1 week I have to this day not had one vertigo attack.
October 2006 was the first visit, and I couldn't walk. I came here in a scooter. I have MS. And then I came back in June of this year without the scooter, only a cane. And since then, I am now walking and wearing a shoe with a heel on it.
I definitely believe in what he says in his books. That's what made me buy the second and third books. As soon as I read the first book, it made instant sense to me. I agree with everything that he says completely. I just wish I would have known about him sooner.
I'm going to start going over material that every single person has to know for the purposes of the group treatment. When working with these energies, for example, when I connect to someone and do a treatment, the way I like to describe it is I consider it a composite of a bunch of different energies. And those other energies include my intentions, the intentions of the person I'm working on, the intentions of the people around that person. There's a lot of different factors that are influencing what you're seeing. There is no way that I can sit there and pick away at every little problem that I see. I just can't do it. It's not possible. So what I do is I visualize just bombarding everyone in this entire room with as much energy as I can. And then with your intentions, with your visualizations, you direct that energy more effectively to where it has to go.
And here he is, Adam Dream Healer. You know, when people watch, when people hear your story and watch that, they're going to have incredibly passionate responses in your favor and against, and we'll get to that. But I want to start with Ronnie Hawkins. What did you do for Ronnie Hawkins?
Well, Ronnie Hawkins, I was experimenting with all his energy, I was having all these different experiences, and I saw a story in the newspaper about how he had terminal pancreatic cancer, and I decided I wanted to try to see if I could help him. And I sent him an email, and I said, you know, at this time, I want you to lie down and relax and just see what you experience. And at that time, I did the treatment, and then he felt this incredible pulsing over the area where the tumor was. And so that at that point, he knew that there was some connection happening, so that really made him more aware of what was happening. And I kept doing these treatments quite often, and then he got another scan, and it was gone. And he's still doing great. I mean, even, you know, you see he's still partying like crazy now. He does party more than any 20-year-old that I know. He's like 70.
Man, when he was on our show, he was talking about doing so many drugs after his diagnosis. I just thought that the drugs killed it. You know, that whatever tumor he had, just that combination of narcotics just totally cleaned him out.
It's amazing that he's still in the shape that he is doing all that. But, you know, one thing I think about Ronnie that really helped him through this is he is doing everything he can to enjoy life. He's just having a great time all the time, and he had no fear of dying. He's like, okay, if I got 6 months to live, that means I'm going to party twice as hard for those 6 months. And that really helped him to get through it, I think, too.
You know how it sounds on TV when people hear this, and when we told people you were coming on the show, that the responses were either A, that guy is full of shit, or B, can he help me?
Yeah.
And there was no middle ground on you. It was one or the other.
You know, it's always interesting how people feel that way. It all comes down to whether someone's experienced something or not. If you haven't experienced something, I can see why you'd be skeptical about this. You would never find me talking about any of this stuff if I have not experienced anything that I experienced. It is very weird. A lot of it is very weird. But when you hear what I'm talking about, it's really not that difficult to grasp. The focus of my work is self-empowerment, showing people how their intentions influence their metabolism and consequently their health. It's all about self-empowerment. That's really the focus of my work.
When you say these experiences, what do you mean? Take me through an experience.
Okay, well, my first healing experience, for example, on my mom. She had trigeminal neuralgia. It's a common symptom of MS, multiple sclerosis. And it's a stabbing pain in the side of the head. And for a reason I'm not sure why, I went up to her room and I went into this trance. And I couldn't see anything else in the room around me except for these images of my mom in front of me. It's like I was navigating throughout her head. And then inside her head, I saw this green light. It was very obvious this was the problem. So I grabbed it and I pulled it out of her. As a result of me doing this, her pain vanished. She never got another pain. Even to this day, she never got another pain.
That was your first experience?
My first healing experience.
Okay, so when you come out of that, you go,
yeah.
Like what happens to you?
You know, I hate watching film of me doing that trance. It is so creepy to watch yourself doing something that you have no recollection of doing whatsoever. For some reason, I have no idea why I'm able to do this. I go into this very deep trance very quickly, and then when I snap out of it, it's very strange. It's all of a sudden my eyes are dilated, so it's really bright for me. I don't really know where I am for a bit, so it's very disorienting when that first happens.
You know, people, like Ronnie said in that clip, when people are facing death, they'll try anything, they'll do anything. And so I suspect when people come to see you, there's the idea that you're providing hope for these people, and then there are a lot of people who think that maybe you're just ripping them off. Because you charge money, right?
Well, at the conferences, yes, I do charge money for these conferences, these group healings that I do. But really, like I said, when people hear about what it is I'm actually talking about, like getting people to focus on their own health, I have never said, come to me and it's a magical healing, everyone's going to get better. The focus has always been showing people how they can do this themselves, showing people how they can influence their own health. And really, when you look at my website, you can see literally hundreds of testimonials that come through of people that it has worked for. So it is helping many people. And really, whether someone believes it or not, it really doesn't bother me, because the focus of my work is showing people how to do it themselves, and I know that it's working.
It's just the power of positive thinking you're doing?
It's a little more complicated than just the power of positive thinking.
I mean, yeah, you're going into people's heads and you're pulling on lights, yes.
Yeah, I mean, positive thinking is a big part of it. Being positive really does help. I don't think that there's really much doubt about that being positive does influence your health in a positive way.
Did you used to do one-on-ones? Because you don't do one-on-one with people like you do for Ronnie Hawkins, so I imagine you must get a lot of requests.
I used to do one-on-ones. When I was doing one-on-ones, it was more me trying to understand what was happening here. It was more, because I'm a very scientifically minded person. I want to know what's happening here.
You're studying that now, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm studying molecular biology at university. So, I mean, I'm trying to figure out what's happening here. I'm trying to figure out what all these experiences mean. And so a lot of these things are difficult to describe. They're happening.
Have you gone to a doctor and asked what's going on with you? Like after your first experience? Because that's a pretty freaky thing. Well, you know, and I wonder if you went to somebody and went, fix this, please.
We went to, well, I didn't actually go to the doctor. My parents talked to some doctor friends of ours. And
that's not the same thing, dude.
It's interesting, though, but it's interesting. Some of them are really into it. Some of them have had similar experiences. Some of them are really into these things. And others just won't go there. You know, like whatever, as soon as you hear the word energy or healing, they shut it down. They don't want to hear it.
I know you say you don't really, you don't care what people say about you when they don't agree with you, but there is we live in an age right now where there are a lot of people selling snake oil, and the idea of dream healing, distant energy healing, in lieu of medicine. You always hear the line, laughter is the best medicine. I think penicillin's the best medicine. Laughter's nice, right? Yeah. But a distant energy healer and a dream healer, if that takes people's focus away from maybe like the fact that this is just not what they should be doing.
Well, first of all, dream healer is not healing dreams. That's just the name of my first book, and that's how I became well known. But one thing that's very important about this, all these things I'm talking about, using your intentions to focus on healing, it's not an either or. I'm not saying do this, don't take penicillin. You can take penicillin and you can do this at the same time. And when you do this in conjunction with these pharmaceutical drugs or anything, allopathic, conventional, or alternative, doesn't matter. If you do this in conjunction, it's just another angle to hit your problem with, and it really does help.
Do people expect you to heal them?
Everyone has different expectations. The expectations that come to the talk. Some come with the expectation that yes, I'm going to come and I'm just no responsibility whatsoever. I'm just going to magically get healed. But the majority of the people that come to my conferences have had similar experiences and are interested in learning more about how to use their own energy to influence their own health.
If I come to you and I'm sick, how much does it cost for me to get healed? And I mean that seriously. Like if someone has this problem, because there is a money angle involved for you, and that you do need to get paid, and you get paid. So how much does it cost for someone to come to you and say, fix this?
Well, I don't charge people for any individuals because I don't do any individuals. It's always group healings. But
is there a reason you don't do group individuals anymore?
Well, I simply don't have the time. I'm at school all the time, and it is very draining for me to do. And I feel I can help a lot more people doing these group treatments. But money has never been the focus of what I do. It has never been what motivates me to do what I do. If you just look at the facts, like I'm going to school full time, I live at home with my parents. Mm-hmm. Money is not my focus in life.
Did 60 Minutes or 2020 say you had like $1 million?
There are all sorts of different numbers. They took the magic math and multiplied it by 2, and all these interesting figures that they came up with. But like I said, what motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing is all the people that I've helped. I mean, if you look at my website, like I said, there's literally hundreds of testimonials that keep coming in every time I do these conferences.
1993 playoffs, the Los Angeles Kings enlisted the help of Tony Robbins. Have the Toronto Maple Leafs called you yet?
No, they haven't.
Good to see you, man. Adam Dream Healer, everybody. With a guest like this, I wish the show was called an hour and a half so we could keep on going. More to come tonight, including an update on Operation Disc Drop and one of the funniest guys in this country.